I wanted to start this module off by telling a story. Like many out there, I watched The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary. And I want to point out a specific story in that documentary. It was during the playoffs. I believe this was when Jordan wasn't with the Bulls. I think he was off playing baseball. And they had an opportunity to take a game-winning shot. And Scottie Pippen, who was the captain and their star player, really wanted to take that shot. And Phil Jackson, the coach, decided that Tony Kukoc was going to take the shot, that was the best path forward for the team. And so I believe he set up a play that he was hoping Scottie Pippen would be double teamed, Tony Kukoc would be open, and boom, he would shoot the game-winning shot. Now, Scottie Pippen did not like that. He was really upset. His ego got in the way, and he refused to go out in the court and play. So he sat on the bench. The team goes out for the play. They run the same play without Scottie. Tony Kukoc gets the ball, and he shoots, and he scores, and they win the game. And I remember watching that and seeing the impact on Scottie Pippen's decision of not going out in the court, and it was detrimental. They should have been celebrating this huge win. Instead, they went to the locker room and there was tears. And I mean, players said, "Scottie, I can't believe you did that to us. I can't believe you let us down." And it just shows how much of an impact selfish behavior can have on a team when someone decides to do something for their own good instead of the good of the team. So you're going to learn the following in this module. 1, how to support your team, how to have better meetings with better outcomes, how to communicate with your team and get proper feedback, how to drive accountability, and how to properly exit a team member. Overall, this will allow you to be more like a high-performing sports team. When I think about operating as a team, I think back to being at a conference years ago and hearing the speaker, Jack Daly, who some of you may have heard of. And I'm in the audience, and Jack opens up his talk, and he talks about that most sports teams, even at the junior high level, operate better than corporations. And he gives this example of joining a corporation. So let's say you hire a sales individual, and you do the interview, and they join your sales team or your business. And all of a sudden they meet a few people at the office, and they get their business cards. And what you tell them next is, "Hey, here's your territory, here's your cards, here's some brochures. Go practice what we've just taught you on some new potential customers." And so that was just one story about how teams, if you think about this, are much more efficient. So if you think about teams, you try out for the team, multiple tryouts, and you try out for maybe different positions on the team. You make sure you get along with the team and you are fit with the team. During tryouts, people don't just watch for your skill, they watch for your behavior, what type of athlete you are, and how you're going to work with this team. Then say you make the team. Then it's practice with the team. Then you play a game. Once you play the game, debrief with the team, talk about what worked, what didn't work. Maybe set up some new plays, practice, and then practice for a new opponent, a different play. And so think of all these things that happen, as well as the coaching aspect. You know, teammates hold each other accountable. Coaches coach in real time, not at the end of a season or halfway through the season. They coach in real time. As soon as the play's done, they coach. They use that opportunity right away. We don't do that in most businesses, and we really need to start thinking and operating like a high-performing sports team. That will get us to greatness. Ever since looking at my company like a high-performing sports team, I always say, look, I want any companies that I'm involved with to be very difficult teams to make, tough teams to stay on, as in you have to be a high-performing team member to stay on that team who delivers results, but the best teams to play on, as in best team to work for. I'm very transparent in that message to everybody around me. It's important to understand, as a leader of a team or an entire organization, you are directly responsible for the performance of each individual on that team. It's your responsibility. So it's very important to get things right with your team. And I think sometimes that we forget that typically, especially if we're in the position to hire teammates, it's our responsibility to deal with our teammates. And it's up to us to either put them into a place, an environment where they can thrive and succeed, or to exit them in the right way, which we'll talk about later. So if you think about this, you in some cases recruited them to your team, you selected them, and now you manage them. So you have to set them up for success. We're going to be talking about all the things that you need to do to make sure that your team is going to be successful.